What's up, guys? JP back at you once again, bring you guys day number 2 in my 9th annual 31 Days of Horror. This is a series in which we watch and review 31 horror films in 31 days, all during the month of October, leading right up to Halloween. And for today's title, I went with something that I've been wanting to check out, and that is the Mcpherson tape. From the year 1989, it is released by AGFA, which is American Genre Film Archive plus Bleeding Skull. I think this is distributed through MVD, but this label is really cool. They've released a ton of sort of obscure movies that were kind of stuck on video, so that's really neat. The Mcpherson tape is probably one of their biggest releases because this film was very hard to see for the longest time. In fact, it pretty much was only available online. This film never got a proper video release. I don't even know if it got a VHS release. This film is very obscure in terms of when it was released. I think that it had a very limited theater run, and then the elements, the original elements, apparently were lost in a fire or damaged or something. So it's pretty cool that this film, did end up surviving, and finally we have it on Blu-ray here. This film is a found footage film from the year 1989. It is an early found footage film when you think about it, because it really is, like sort of the traditional found footage. It's not a mockumentary or anything. It's literally handheld footage from a birthday party, is what it, is the plot. And it's sort of interesting because everybody talks about Blair Witch, and that being really like the first one. But of course, real genre fans know that it definitely wasn't the first one. Even The Last Broadcast predates the Blair Witch, but this even predates both of those. Of course, we got Cannibal Holocaust too, but not going to go through the history of found footage films. Let's get into the Mcpherson tape. So this film runs only, I believe, 63 minutes, so it's just over an hour. There is a director's cut on this disc, which is the version that I watched. I don't know the differences, but it follows a family during a birthday party for a young girl. The person recording the event, it's his niece. So you have the mother or grandmother to the niece there, and then the dude's brothers and their wives and stuff like that, and they're all having a family get together birthday party when the power goes out. They wander through the woods to see what's going on, and there is a alien spaceship off in the distance, and there's aliens that see them, and they decide to run back to the house, and it's basically, that's the plot. So this film is really cool. Like, it does have problems. It is a little bit rough around the edges, but it's so neat that I can't help but love it. First of all, the home video aspect of the film feels so natural. There's all people having different conversations, and it really feels like you're in the center of a family get-together. And it really took me back to when I was a kid in the early 90s, and our families would get together. Like, I had a huge family, and we would all get together for an occasion, whether it be a Super Bowl or Christmas or 4th of July, and there would be all this food and everybody would bring stuff, and that just doesn't happen anymore. That hasn't happened in well over a decade, and it's very sad, because a lot of my family has died off, and everybody kind of grew apart, and there were a few key members that held all that glue together, that were the glue to that have passed away, and it's just nobody does anything like that anymore. So it really took me back and made me sort of appreciate those memories, which I didn't expect out of this film for that to be what I took away with it most. But the aliens, they actually show the aliens, and they look good for what this is. I was like, okay, this is totally passable. The only thing that is not passable in this film is there's a couple points in this film where something crazy happens, and then it's like basically the family just starts trying to get back to normal and pretend like nothing happened. I can see what they're trying to do there with just, like them not really knowing what to do. It's probably limitation of the budget more than anything, to where they have to have these filler moments. And basically that's probably the biggest problem of it. It just doesn't feel natural at times. It doesn't feel like these people would just be like, oh, you know, there's aliens outside, let's have some cake. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. But it's okay. I think that this is a very passable in terms of authenticity of a found footage film. Other than that stuff, it really feels like, oh, this could be someone's footage, you know, minus the fact that there's freaking aliens in it. But it's got some great performances, and then the same characters will have moments of like bad acting. So it's like hit and miss with that. But overall, I think that this is just such a cool thing that exists. The Mcpherson tape, aka UFO abduction. It's a really neat thing, and I'm happy that it exists, because it's such a weird little movie that, you know, not a lot of people had seen, because it was like impossible to see. I mean, it did make its way online in the digital age, but that's how I first seen it. But I didn't really remember it, so rewatching it this time, you know, I had a fresh perspective. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give it a solid 7 out of 10. I think that it's awesome. There are some problems with it, but it's super indie. You know, it's almost like homemade. You know, I think that they said the budget was like $6,000 or something like that. I don't even know if these are real actors or if it's just the guy's family. It felt pretty authentic, so I almost feel like it's probably just his family. But yeah, so pretty cool movie. If you've never seen it, definitely pick up this Blu-ray here. It's pretty awesome. So with that said, I'll see you guys tomorrow with another one. Peace out.